Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And just a couple of announcements I'll start with. First of all, I've been talking about this new food over medicine licensing program we have. I wrote a very popular book. It's still popular, called Food Over Medicine. I think it came out in 2013 or someplace around in there. And it still is relevant today as it was when it came out. And we've had people take certification courses to learn the concepts in the book and be able to teach the basic concepts of the book. But we have this new license program that allows people to use our name and to market our products and services here. We're going to teach you how to have a food-centered approach to healthcare. And this is for doctors who want to install a diet and lifestyle program in their office. It's for people who are looking to use cooking and community workshops and personal chefing and that sort of thing as a complement to some of the things that we do here. So we've scheduled the first two training sessions, one in July and one in August, but I'm going to do a couple of free sessions, one July 7th and one July 11th, to let you kind of see more about what this is all about. We do really well with these sessions where people get a little bit closer look, and so we'll tell you some of what you're going to be learning, show it to you, as well as familiarize you with more with what we do here that you would be offering as well. So send me an email at pampopper@msn.com. The other thing is we have a new chef here at Wellness Forum Health, and if you have not stopped into our office, if you live any place in driving distance in Central Ohio, you definitely want to come in and check out the food. It is amazing. Amy is our new chef, and this woman makes food. She is incredibly good. And of course, come in and take yoga with us. We have a hot yoga studio. We do really well with people who have injuries and structural problems. And you might even get lucky and take class from me, because I still teach yoga and take yoga both. All right. So just some things coming up that you might want to be aware of. Oh, and one last thing I'll mention. Our Nutrition Educator program is a great program for people who would like to have an advanced training in nutrition, but they don't want to get a dietetics degree. And I'm teaching a 15-week, it consists of 2 of the classes from the Nutrition Educator program. And it's like a preview to let you figure out if this is really what you want to do, because the program is extensive and long and it involves lots of homework and projects and all that. So at the end of the 15 weeks, which will end in like around Thanksgiving, we start in August, you'll either say to yourself, you know what, this was fun, I learned a lot, I could see myself doing this, or maybe not so much, I loved what I learned, but I just don't see myself doing this for the next 3 or 4 years. So if you want to participate in that, you can also send me an email. Happy to provide you with information about it. All right, so today I want to talk about something kind of unusual maybe. It's called The Healing Power of I Don't Know. That's actually the title of the article that I got this information from. It's this article was posted on MedPage, written by Emily DeWass, a health writer. And she says that the unwillingness of doctors to admit that they don't know what's wrong with a patient, or what to do in some cases where they know what's wrong, but they just don't know what to do about it, has caused lots of medical mistakes, and it has an adverse effect on health. She cites as an example a woman who as a teenager had some fainting episodes and was referred to several doctors and specialists for testing. Not one of them gave her a diagnosis, and instead of saying, hey, we just don't know what's wrong, they told her she was a drama queen who needed psychiatric care. So she did go see a psychiatrist who said there was nothing wrong with her. And even finding this psychiatrist was a stroke of luck, because so many of them are still pretty quick to write script for antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs for almost anybody who visits them. So she lucked out here. Well, what happened was not good. She went into cardiac arrest at the age of 23, but it did finally lead to a diagnosis, pretty severe one, life-threatening heart condition that required her to have several surgeries and some ongoing care. The woman told DeWass, it is so much worse to make somebody feel like they're crazy than to just say, sorry, I don't know. And she reported that she's said to doctors, they need to learn to say, I don't know. Patients will respect you. Well, DeWass states in the article that this isn't an isolated incident. This is what I have seen during all my years in healthcare as well. doctors just never say to people that they don't know what's wrong. And so DeWass wrote a book on healthcare and interviewed a whole lot of patients who reported similar findings. And they all said, doctors just don't say, I don't know, let me consult with a colleague who might have answers. It was only through perseverance that patients report that they find answers to their problems. And I'll come back to that. Well, I've said for a long time that doctors are victims of their training. I think people really do go into medicine for the right reasons. Generally speaking, they want to help people. And some of the stuff in DeWass's article really reinforces this idea. One thing that's written in the article is that doctors in residency are regularly put on the spot through tough grilling during rounds. Often this is done in front of colleagues, and it sets the stage for doctors to believe that they're expected to have total recall and have all the answers immediately. The practice, rather than providing rigorous training in critical thinking, pressures doctors to have an answer. Any answer is better than no answer. So the goal of residency should be to teach new docs how to focus on the patient, not to demonstrate that they know everything in front of their peers. Doctors interviewed for the article state that physicians need to rely more on other health professionals, nurses, social workers, to help find answers for patients, and also to ask more questions and listen to patients. And I'll share this with you. One of the biggest influences on me in terms of the way I think about healthcare was a physician, a friend of mine who died, unfortunately, a few years ago. But he said he never spent less than 45 minutes with a patient, and resisted all of the buying up of practices and that sort of thing, because he just didn't want to practice medicine that way. And he told me many years ago, he said, you have to let people talk about themselves. He said, patients know remarkable amount of information about their own bodies and what's going on if you'll just take the time to listen. So, doctors, I think, are recognizing that. And one doctor said, you could always say to the patient, I don't know what this is right now, but we're going to get more information, and I'm with you until we figure this out. And I remember Dr. Esselstyn said one time that one of the things that patients fear most is a doctor who abandons them. It's like, well, now what the heck am I supposed to do? I was counting on you to figure it out with me, right? So people who are sick want compassion, not a demonstration of encyclopedic knowledge from doctors. And a response like the one I just mentioned to you is not only more compassionate, but more respectful to the patient as well. There are good doctors out there who are not dismissive. They show a lot of respect for patients. But the message I want to give to you, if you're watching this, is that if the healthcare professionals you're talking to, whatever flavor they are, an OB-GYN, a physical therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, whatever type of health professional, if you're not getting the right answers, and if you're not getting better, seek advice from others and continue to do this until you find someone who helps you to get better. Good health is available to almost all people who seek it aggressively enough. And it is somewhat of a shame that the best health recovery stories are often told by people who say, I just refuse to give up. I just continued down the path until I found a way out of this mess. And it's a shame that it has to be so difficult. But this really is about taking control of your health and saying, I know something is wrong with me. I know that somebody's going to know what it is, and I'm just going to keep talking to people until I figure it out. So that's all for today. That's my message for you. Proactive health. And again, I want to emphasize, I make comments about the medical profession, and I want to be crystal clear. There are so many good doctors out there, and they shouldn't be lumped in with the rest of all this mess of not very caring people that I talk about sometimes. But you really work on finding somebody like that. It's worth the challenge of finding somebody who will be respectful and help you figure things out. All right, that's all for today. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think might get something out of watching it. And I'll be back to you tomorrow with more news.